Hey guys, I'm Tass. Real quick, next week's Flash Games Friday is going to be a question and answer video sort of thingamabobber. Post questions down below for me. They can be about YouTube, games, my background in history. They can be about anything. Ask me about burgers, running, hairdos. Whatever you want to ask me, I'll do what I can to answer it. Enjoy Flash Game Friday and post questions below. Alright! This is the only level 2 elephant action. Tasselfoot coming at you, developer commentary. So basically what happened was, a few years ago, my buddy John released a game called This is the Only Level. He did it in one day. Go back and replay the original game and think about that fact that he made that game in one day. Alright? And listen to Polka. Always listen to Polka. By Kevin MacLeod. Incompetech.com. So basically, for about 6 months after he released that, I was like, John, you need to make a sequel, you need to make a sequel, you need to make a sequel. And so he was like, dude, if you keep bugging me to make a sequel, you need to help out. So I was like, alright man, fine. And I went and pulled out a full legal notepad, and I made like 40 theoretical level designs. I did a design of the level itself, and I went to Armor Studio, and John and I worked on the game. So, this level screen is mostly John's work. I had little to do except I was like, hey, we need a level that involves the menu. That's about it. So, but this is basically going to cover... no! We need to clear progress. Yay! Because that was the secret 31st stage that I'll talk about all the way at the end. Yeah, so basically, I did the vast majority of this level design. This entire level, like, I designed this layout here that you see, and all the spikes and the button and everything. And the game basically plays more as a level pack and a little bit of an homage back to the first game than a sequel. So anyway, the first level and the first game start, and the first level and the second game both start out the same way. Arrow keys required. Also with this game, I really focused a lot more on like puzzles and stuff, and then basically figuring out what the stage name really means in terms of what you need to do for the puzzle. So, but I kept it exactly the same for the first stage, just for that. Hop, skip, and a jump basically means you can jump 3 times. There was a level where you could only jump once in the first game. I thought 3, that works, plus you can have a cool name for it, and it's simple. You need easy stages. You always have to remember that in level design, that you have to have easy stages as well as hard stages. For the most part, things need to be easier rather than harder, because the average gamer is not very intelligent. Peekaboo, what does he do when you have peekaboo? You look behind you, so hey, let's have a level where you have to turn around to open it. John wound up making this, you know, like, a little faster than I kind of wanted it, like, oh no, you know, you get turned away from it, so you do really have to be fast with that right at the end to get that to work, but the overall feel of it works really well. This level did not turn out how I wanted it. I wanted a level where you hit the button and obviously, boom, oh crap, that happens. And that kind of makes it a little bit harder than it was meant to be for a stage 4. There's 2 ways you can go about solving it. The one that I was intending for was this, where you do that and then you can sort of hop around to here and then up. But the other methodology is you could come back, you could fall here, you could jump across there, get up to here, 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 and then over, and then over. It's way convoluted. That wound up being way hard. We probably lost a ton of people on stage 4 just because of that fact that that level was too hard for where it wound up being, which is completely my fault. Also, this level, again, red light, I wanted to make it as a punishment for players, like, oh hey, kids never stand still in games, like they're constantly moving, they're always moving around, oh, hyper, I have to move around with everything. So let's make a level where you can't touch anything for 5 seconds, and probably not the best game design decision, just because kids are like Adderall and candy and soda, everything, so you know, it doesn't work as well. It might have been better to hold off for later as well on this, or to have scrapped the idea altogether. But I really wanted to play everything like through with puzzles and straightforward sort of solutions, but you really have to solve and think about what the name of the stage was. I worked really hard on the stage names, like I must have Wikipedia'd like 50 different things on different levels to try to find creative names for stuff that like had weird references that went through, and this level turned out brilliantly. Like, John nailed my idea and the way I described this level so well. I was like, hey, I want a level that you sort of have to dig under it and then you fall in through the top, and this is how John took my idea and actually designed it and created it to be like this. Like, this is mostly John turning that into awesomeness. Way more than just my initial idea. I don't think I could have come up with something as simplistic as that worked as well. Also, John actually wound up drilling down into this square here, when initially I was thinking that it would just be straight across. You would just run straight across into this square here, and then you would fall down. So I think that actually made it a little bit harder, because like people think to run across as opposed to down, but very, very minor. Back where you started, simple solution. The first game had nothing like this, where, hey, you know, you keep getting pooped out of the level in the top left, so why shouldn't you have to go back to it? And so, of course, we designed the level so that you definitely could. You can get back to that stage, and that's part of the whole level design. You need to make sure that when you're doing 30 levels, that your one level that never, ever, ever changes is doable for all 30 of them. And that was definitely something that we had to tweak certain placements of stuff and the way that certain things were aligned so that they would work with all 30 levels. And this thing goes either way. Apparently there's some bugs going around with AS2 and certain versions of Flash Player, mostly Adobe's fault. I will blame them, because it's never our fault. It's always someone else's fault that this doesn't actually work. So my apologies for that, but it's a really cool level idea for, I think, that the mouse involvement. There were a couple levels in the first game that had mouse involvement, so I wanted to keep that the same in this game, that it had mouse involvement as well. So drag and drop, but I mean, that, you know, that sort of makes sense. This one's just basically straight up U.S. political. If you're not in the U.S., it probably doesn't make as much sense, but the political parties are a blue elephant for Republicans and a red donkey for Democrats. So it's like John does all this stuff with blue elephant, blue elephant, blue elephant. It's a very Republican sort of thing. So this level is just straight up political U.S. There's nothing about it at all. It's just a simple break diversion from everything else. No thinking, just minor, not actual political statement at all. But, and of course, Run Donkey Run, taken from John's other game, Run Elephant Run. And of course, you can play with the donkey as an unlockable character at the end. Circle the wagon. There was a level in the first one where you had to alternate left-right key, going back and forth. So circle the wagon, sort of the same thing, except it's you going around clockwise on the W, A, S, and D keys. It's just sort of taking it to the next level, but you can like really motor. See here, watch. Ready? This is me motoring through. Whee! You can hear my keys, I'm sure. Look at that. That was pretty cool, right? I'm impressed. Now this is my favorite level in the entire game. I definitely designed this, but John used his imagination and he took my idea and ran with it further. Like, that's a lot of the case in this game, is that I came up with the initial ideas for a lot of stuff, and then John took my ideas and was like, hey, how about we do this? Or he didn't even say how we do this, he just actually did it and then showed it to me, and then I was like, that is amazing. My initial idea for this was, you know, World 1 2, it's a Super Mario Brothers 1 reference for the warp jump, where you exit the top of the level and you run across for a while, and then a warp zone appears. What I was planning on doing originally for the level is that it would stay this one screen, because I wanted to keep it. This is the only level. So you couldn't see the elephant, you would just run to the right. You would be up here, and then you would just run across to the right, and then elephant would just fall down here, and then eventually you would just, not really knowing what was going on, but just hoping you were far enough, you would hit back the left arrow key, and you would enter into the little cave over here. But what John did actually works so much better, even if it does divulge from this is the only level specifically. But just to actually create the warp zone and have it is like, I can't complain with that at all, with his decision. Flip it, simply, you know, we just turned the entire level 180 degrees. A lot of people for some reason thought you actually still had to hit the button, but if you look at the level, because of the entrance, you know, there's no green line preventing you from going. So that's a really hard thing to do, is to hit that button, because the spike's there. So yeah, you definitely don't need to hit that. You can just fly across the level like that. Sticky keys. Oh, this is... I had a... sorry. I had a huge fight with John about the naming for this level. One, he didn't want to have it in the first place because he said Mac users don't know what sticky keys are. They don't know that it's like a Windows thing, so we had to go and look up on the internet and find out that sticky keys actually are on Mac computers as well as PC, except on Macs they actually are intelligent and it's defaulted to off. Where on Windows it's defaulted to on, and you actually have to go into settings and turn it off, so you don't get that annoying message that pops up after you hit shift 5 times in a row real fast, which is what you have to do on this level, is hit shift 5 times in a row. What I wanted to name the key was a masturbation, the level was a masturbation reference, as in, my keys are sticky. John vetoed me on that one. I fought long and hard to try to get the masturbation, and of course the button doesn't work. I'm talking too much and not paying attention. I really wanted the masturbation joke in there because I'm juvenile to the nth degree. There's your 5, and that was John's his little flair with the from Achievement Unlocked that those pop out like that. So yeah. Compromise. That was a compromised level. The sky is falling. We have to be quick. This was just my, Chicken Little. I was like, oh, Chicken Little, the sky is falling. Implementation probably could have been better, but it is. This was my view whoring, because I am a view whore. I'll admit that readily. And why shouldn't I be? But in the first game, level 15 was brilliantly done, where you had to refresh the entire screen, and it was very confusing, and I didn't even know it was possible to do in Flash, that it could register that, a page refresh. Apparently you can, so I said to John, hey, level 15 on this game, let's do something similar, but instead of page refreshing, we helped Tass out, because Tass really was paid almost nothing for all of the level design, so hey, let's push the walkthrough for everyone and make it forced clickable. Plus, Armor gets all sorts of ad revenue as well for it, so everyone wins. So yeah, you have to click the walkthrough that I created and then hit the button. So yeah, that's just complete and utter view whoring, but it worked. Millions upon views. Sliding portcullis. This is the level where, yeah, you have to do this, and I really wish the portcullis would have not gone down as quickly as it did, because you wind up actually having to kind of rush to make that under. I would have liked it to have, the level to have been a little bit easier, and especially on the 3 times mode, that winds up being like super hard of a stage to get done quickly and done, because everything's just happens so fast you can't be precise enough. But we didn't really think too much about the crack mode, basically. One of the bonus modes is the whole game plays at 3 times the speed, so everything is like super twitchy and stuff, and it's really hard. And we completely didn't think about that at all when we were doing this, but it's actually completable. I've beaten every mode of the game, the FML mode and the tweaker speed mode. Left is right. You can see is capitalized, so it's emphasizing the fact that left is right, so you have to play on words. Going left is correct, as in right, so hey, woo, look at that. All you gotta do is just go left. It's really simple. This level didn't turn out how I wanted it. I wanted it to be a level where, like, just the whole scenery was changed, and I wanted sort of like a Renaissance painting design. And so John was like, hey, I got a new tablet. I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna actually try to draw out a new level that like looks super realistic and super awesome. And then like 2 days later he comes back and he's like, yeah, this didn't work so well, so we're gonna go with finger painting instead, and it looks like a 3-year-old did it. But this is John's artwork, so everyone please congratulate John on his lovely artwork. Oh, John. Oh, I also noticed that just said build 0.0003 in the upper right corner as opposed to 1.0.3. That was a really weird bug that I've actually never seen before, and apparently it's only noticeable if you actually looked at it. Showed it right up here in the upper right corner. You can go back and look at it. I don't know, it might be another AS2 to bug or something, but actually this level is actually AS3. Oh, because I hit the A key from going left, as opposed to that. So, and now it's locked me in where I can't do anything until I do the rest of the alphabet. So, you know the alphabet, everyone plays that words. How do you spell the alphabet? You know, A-L-P-H-A-B-E-T. So I wanted it to be like that, so people go to type alphabet, it doesn't work, and oh, I actually have to do the alphabet. So Plus, but then when we first coded it, it was really confusing. People didn't really know, you couldn't tell what key you're on, so John added the explosion burst and stuff. So I'm gonna go and speed through the alphabet. I'm kind of a fast typer, so I don't know if that was fast or not, but I was sort of hunting pecking, actually, as opposed to like typing normally. I don't know, for some reason, if I speed alphabet type, I always hunt and peck. I don't know why. And I actually say like A, B, C, D, E, F, G in my head. I didn't say it out loud, you would have heard me, but I say it in my head. Amazing. And you can see mazes spelled with an E, so clearly it's something to do with mazes. And oh no, I died, but you can't go that way, so yeah, you die. Instead, there's an invisible wall set up all over the place, and it's basically just a different block that John had to code into the engine that's invisible, but you can like climb on it, so you can climb here, and you can climb there, and it's just memorizing where stuff is. There was something kind of similar in the first game, but I was like, we need to make a maze level, and just there actually weren't really enough elements in the game, and like the pixels are too large, so there's not enough the grid space. I actually forget, I designed it out, I think it's 24 blocks high by like 36 wide or something like that. I forget. We actually expanded it. Originally it was 640 by 480 or 640 by 480, and we expanded it out to 800 wide pixel. So we had to tweak the spacing on everything with that as well as we were doing it. And the entire level design was actually just one day. I went down to Armor's office for one day, and John and I basically spent like 6 hours, and we just banged everything out. Like, we used post-it notes to write out levels, move everything around, go over the core stuff, and then we talked on IM and Skype, and like through a Google document we worked, and he kept passing me builds constantly, and this game actually took about 2 weeks start to finish. So Schizophrenic, there was a level that was kind of like this in that there was like every alternating pixel spot like killed you, and I thought that was like really harsh and too much. But Schizophrenic is okay, but except that there was no good way to show when you were going forward and when you were going backward, so John decided to make them blinking. So if it's red, you go left, and if it's blue, you go right. So you just sort of have to time your movements so that you don't do that, because that was bad. But this level is definitely, it's a hard one, but it's a lot of fun, and you really do feel schizophrenic when you go and play it, because you can do stuff like this. Oh no! When you just hold the right arrow key. No, go! And so you can never actually reach the exit, which is really cool the way that we did that. What's on the menu? And this was the level, I was like, hey, we need a button on the menu that you have to go and press to get to. So then John designed the entire menu to be playable, which led to all sorts of other fun stuff with a playable menu. You can actually jump off the screen, and you go and you hit the button, and then when you continue, hey, that's unlocked. That was just like little simple stuff, like, hey, let's put a button on the menu, and like, you know, because there was one in the credits in the first game, so like, what we can do in the credits, we can just make an interactive menu. Deaf, Dumb, and Blind. You'd think that it's just a black level, but that was done in the first game, so that would be, oh no, the hitting the button didn't do anything. That would be way too easy if it was just a dark level where you had to memorize everything. So instead, Deaf, Dumb, and Blind, kind of a, you can call it a Helen Keller reference, or for me, it's the Who's Tommy Pinball Wizard reference. So deaf means you can't hear. Dumb and blind is basically you're you know, dumb is a bad phrasing in there, but mostly deaf and blind. Blind you can't see, but deaf, oh hey, mute. Oh look, and that unlocks it. But then if you go it again, it brings it back. So we'll do that, and then we'll bring it back. So on ice, this was I was like, let's do a level that's like Warbox B. I'm sure you're all familiar with this sliding puzzle. I think Warbox B is like there's one that was like Exit E, XCIT. There's been a ton of them. I was like, let's make a level like that. And so you can't die on this level because there's this was like the hardest one that we had to figure out a way that you could actually hit the button while sliding around. This was the level that we definitely had trouble with, making sure that we aligned everything so that it was actually beatable. So this was the level that kind of dictated placement of everything. Oh, and this level wound up being brutal. I just had an idea. I was like, well, let's have a level where the spikes can kill you, because, you know, I Want to Be the Guy has levels where spikes kill you and fly at you, so why don't we have levels where the spikes fly at you? And so when John first programmed it, these things were like so brutally fast. It was almost impossible to do it. Even now, it's actually pretty hard. You have to sort of get a running start and get under it. If you just sort of jump normally, you'll get killed before you reach the button. So you really have to like speed across quickly to get it taken care of. We could have made it even more brutal and made it so that all of the horizontals fly out as well, in which case you would have had to, you know, jump down from here, immediately get over to here, and then down to here. It would have been really hard, and then you would have to go on here to here and then down so you could avoid that, but that was way too hard. So it's just the verticals, the below and above. X-axis pull. This was one of those Wikipedia names that I pulled out. It's like a physics term. Basically, it's just the gravitational pull coming off of and surrounding the x-axis. I tried to find a better name, and that was what I was using Wikipedia for, was to find a better name. But I couldn't. So this level, basically, you need to get a lot of gravity so that you can float back and forth, and you can actually get to the other side. Or you can go the other way. You can do sort of like level 4, and you can get up here, and then you can get around to here and jump over in there, but that wasn't how I originally planned and designed it. The way I originally planned to design it was like this. And I just pooched it. So now we have to. So now we can go this way. I actually didn't even think about going this way. It was someone else's user video that they created that I saw that solution. So thank you, random internet user who suggested that one methodology. This was one of my levels. I wanted elite speak level, so death is rad. Saying, yay, death is a good thing, so we want to kill ourselves. How do you go about killing yourself? Well, there's actually a pattern to it, and you use the letters 3, 4, 1, 5, 2. And those stand for left to right. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you hit them in that order. 3, and then we needed a way to signify that you're actually doing it right, so that even if you didn't figure out what it was, you could trial and error and brute force it. Which was fine, because you don't actually have to solve the names of it. And I just screwed up my own thing, because I went to 2, because I am dumb. So I mean, yeah, a lot of people just didn't figure that one out, so that was... I tried really hard, and that was the best I could come up with. Might not have been the best success in the world. Oh well. So, but that was my attempt at the leet speak sort of level, but not actually having the leet speak in terms of the name of it, but the numbers having other meanings as well. So, surface painting. Well, this was the Achievement Unlocked homage, because Achievement Unlocked is all the original Achievement Unlocked was all about. Achievement Unlocked 2 hadn't come out yet, so it could only have been about Achievement Unlocked 1. It was all about surface painting. You had to paint the entire level to beat it. So why should you not have to paint in this game as well? I was like, so you have to paint 50 squares. I think we counted everything up. There was like, I don't know, 88 or something overall paintable surfaces or something. I don't know. We actually counted them all. I don't remember anymore. But so we decided 50 was a good number. There's probably more than 80. I don't know. There would be 90, but certain ones are unreachable or too hard to get to because of death spikes. So, and then we come to John's level. I gave John, you heard me throughout this little discussion, I've given John all of the props in the world when he did something awesome. This level was all John's doing, and it is not awesome. It was cool in concept, we're like, oh hey, let's have a level where you just completely fall through it. And then we just sort of tried to work it in when we already had our spikes placed, and it wound up being really, really, really hard. Brutally hard. Harder than we kind of wanted, especially on the other modes. This level is so brutally, insanely hard on the other 2 modes of the game. It's like it's just cry-worthy, pretty much. But, you know, that happens. And this level definitely got more complaints than any other level, but that's why it's stage 29. It was meant to be hard. If it was easy, it would have been stage 4 or 3. Stage 4 was actually harder than it should have been, so that was a bad example. But stage 3, you know, so it's stage 29. And Free Falling, it's Tom Petty song lyrics reference. Free Falling. I'll try not to sing because I'm not good at all. Oh, and I just went outside the level and back. I totally should have died there. Okay, so I can't believe I did not discover this in testing. because I did all of the testing for the game as well. So this one's completely on me that I did not discover this. Right? The way the way the level was supposed to be done is how I do it in the video. Corpse shot. You're supposed to shoot a corpse. So the corpses have an exact length of time that they survive. So you're supposed to have it, the corpse land on there, and then you make it through. And that was how it was supposed to be done. People found an exploit that I didn't think of. Made it much easier. Oh, let's just hit the panic button and to do it. So there would have been a really easy solution to this had I realized this before we pushed the game live, at which point we just left it in and let people take advantage of it because they're awesome and more awesomer than we are because we didn't figure it out. We just would have disabled the panic mode button, and that would have been that. So there you go. Those are the designs and the thought processes pretty much on the 30 levels. But there is more in the game. I'm not going to do that and skip it. No, because that score is terrible. We didn't unlock anything because... we might have actually with the 10 deaths, because I still didn't die even in what I did. But here, there's a little Easter egg. So you jump into here. Oh, you can climb into the Armor Games logo, and you just go left really far, and you get into the undefined stage 31. And this was put in for one very good reason. In the first game, when John coded it in one day, he accidentally left a undefined stage 31 in the game. When you beat the game and then you went back to play it, you got left here. And so many people came to my walkthrough saying, how do I beat undefined stage 31? Well, it should have been a clue that the level name was undefined, but... So then I said to John when we were just coding the second game, I was like, John, we have to have a way to put the undefined stage 31 back into the game as an homage, as well as just to be funny. So we did. We threw it in there as an Easter egg. Throwing it down in there, that was mostly John, I believe. And the unlockables. So this is from previous times going through it. You get, depending on how fast you beat the game, you can unlock a squirrel, donkey, hedgehog, and velociraptor, because dinosaurs are awesome. And then you have the FML, Frustratingly Manipulative Level, which we stole from Bubble Tank's Tower Defense with permission from one Jared Riley of Hero Interactive. But FML more commonly does not stand for Frustratingly Manipulative, it stands for Fuck My Life. So good to know. Now you're in the know. I forget how you unlock these two. One of them is for under 30 deaths, and the other one is for finding the Easter egg. And so that's the level where 20 random spike blocks appear, no matter what you do, on every single level, and they change every single time. So you often run into stuff that are completely impossible to pass through, but it's so much fun to play. And then Hyper Mode is just at 3 times the speed, and it's like Twitch crack mode. So there you go. Hope you had fun. I will see you guys on Flash Game Friday next week. Q&A. Please post questions down below. I will answer them. They can be about anything. I love you guys very much. I hope you enjoyed. I'm not going to end this quite yet. I'm going to keep rambling on, because I don't know how to end it. This is the only ending. Or is it? Or is this? Or is that?